city with a population of over 13 million, Karnataka's capital city, Bengaluru, is facing a water crisis. Residents of the metro are suffering severe water shortage as unplanned construction work and disregard for the natural water bodies is taking a toll. Largely, however, lack of rainfall during the monsoons has left the Kaveri River basin catchment area in drought and depleted groundwater levels. The water crisis in Bengaluru continues to worsen with each passing day. As residents grapple with water shortage, the Karnataka government has swung into action to address the grim situation. The Karnataka government has allocated 556 crore rupees to address the crisis. Each MLA representing Bengaluru has been allotted 10 crores to address the water scarcity in their respective constituencies. Meanwhile, Karnataka Chief Minister Mr. Siddaramaiah, Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar, cabinet ministers and officials held a meeting on the 5th of March seeking to address this problem. The government has set up a war room to monitor the situation. Meanwhile, the situation is so worse in the Bengaluru region that bore wells in the house of Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka has also dried up, and also tankers were seen entering Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's residence. We'll talk about this with our guest. This is a pressing issue indeed. At this point in time, Mr. Harish Bijur is joining us on the broadcast to give his analysis. He's a resident of Bangalore. Mr. Harish Bijur, I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Well, this is unprecedented. A city like Bengaluru, which is already grappling with a number of infrastructural issues, now is also staring down the barrel literally for water. What do you make of this situation? And have the politicians and administration people in Karnataka and Bengaluru failed the people?
Well, I'll put it this way. I don't want to get into the politics of water, okay? Because water is a people's issue. And at the end of the day, a people's issue is a planning-oriented issue. So no politics in here for me. As far as I'm concerned, Bengaluru has a severe water shortage coming up. The water table of the city is going down and down and down. And when that happens, the borewells are drying out. Leave alone the Kaveri supply that we're talking about, which needs to cater to about 142 lakh people in the city. So when a water table goes down, the water table is telling something to the people. And I think you know what it's telling. But nobody wants to listen. We are overdrawing. We are overpopulated as a city. Bengaluru city cannot have this kind of a population. Full stop. Greed must stop somewhere. We need to demagnetize the city of Bengaluru. Water in the future will not go where the people are. The people have to go where the water is. And I think that is a statement I want to make and leave at the table and say that we write a self-fulfilling prophecy of a water shortage. Cape Town is going through it. N numbers of cities are listed to go through it. God forbid, Bangalore mustn't go through it. So let's demagnetize the city.
Mr. Bijur, you also said that the city is overpopulated and the resources are scanty at this point in time. What do you think could be the solution here? You can't take people out of the city.
Why not, my dear friend? Let me put it this way. When water bites, it actually bites. Water is the new alcohol. Water is the new money, if you ask me. And what do we chase normally? We chase money. Well, stop chasing money. If you stop chasing money, you stop chasing greed. If you stop chasing greed, you stop building Bengaluru into the monstrosity that we are building Bengaluru into. An unplanned city, an unplanned set of pieces of infrastructure. No one government is responsible for this, my dear friend. In fact, the media would possibly want me to comment on the political situation, but I will not comment on it. It's not politics at all. It is about a lack of planning. Let's plan, let's demagnetize, and a way of doing it is to say that we will not construct these tall monstrosities anymore. We will construct in a much more planned manner. We will make sure that infrastructure falls into place for all the people who are currently in the city at least. And let's put a cap on this number, my dear friends. We're growing a bit too much. And that growth is fueled by greed. Bengaluru is emerging to be one of the big greedy cities of India. greed has a limit up to which you can go to. Greed has a glass ceiling. Once the glass ceiling hits us, water shortage hits us. And when there's no water, there'll be water fights, my dear friends. That's what's happening in Cape Town. Okay? We'll be told you can't have a bath. We'll be told you can't, of course, you mustn't wash your cars and scooters anymore. If any of you wash your cars and scooters anymore, I think it's a crime. Okay? Let's watch out for that. But having a bath, imagine being told tomorrow to say that you can bathe once in 3 days, my dear friends. Do you want to live in a city like that? I want to make the city much, much better. I think let's stop the greed and the greedy movement of usurping from a city much more than it can tolerate. I think that toleration point is being hit. That's my point.
Mr. Bajur, appreciate you joining us. And let me assure you that you have made some thought-provoking points. And obviously, this is something which cannot go on in a city like Bengaluru. Dr. P.S.V. Rao, Consultant Surgeon, Manipur Hospital, joins us at this point in time. Revati Ashok, CEO and MD, Bangalore Political Action Committee, also joins us on the show. Sandeep Anirudh, Convener of Citizens Agenda for Bengaluru, is also joining us. Last but by no means the least, Dr. Syed Asad Abbas, Political Analyst, also with us on the show. Dr. Abbas, I'll begin with you. You live in Bangalore. It's a city that you love. It's a city that has given you a lot. But, a city that has given you a lot has to also give you water because it's needed to survive. What do you make of the current situation? I asked Mr. Biju the same question. Have the politicians of the day in Bengaluru and the administration failed the people of the city? Dr. Abbas, I can't hear you.
Yes. Yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
Go ahead.
Okay, great. Well, it was undoubtedly enlightening to me to hear my dear friend Harish. We've had several conversations on different platforms. Let me address this point as Bangalorean. I truly believe the politics need to stop. I've always believed with great power comes great responsibility and equal accountability. We've seen this problem not just during the Congress government, the BJP or the JDS and so on and so forth. Matters of water. Water, like air, is the most essential being for anyone to exist. The fact of the matter, we do see in Bengaluru, many of these apartments, large societies, mushrooming in every corner. There is bound to be a demand. I think there needs to be preemptive measures to be taken by the government in power. Not just them, the Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike. I think I've had various interactions with Revati ji as well, Mohandas Pai Saab as well, who are prominent Bangaloreans. They've been doing some great work with Bengaluru Political Action Committee. I truly think that executions along with the right actions is very important here. To me, as a person who is aware of the infrastructure of my city, I think all of us need to come together and hold the government in power responsible. I think it does not concern to us what happened before, but what needs to take place now. It is about civic activism which can take place now. Or like my friend Harish said, we do not want to see a situation what's happening in Cape Town today. Water and Bangalore is turning out to be a melting pot of sorts, Sir Vineet Saab. You visited here and you will find people of all nationalities here across the breadth of our beautiful nation are staying here. And water crisis, mind you, is most important. Many of us who want to go to office or want to head out of home or any cooking purpose, any specific purpose, water does come into play. As a matter of fact, I have places which I have rented out in Koramangala, and I can tell you, I get a call almost every day from my tenants. I'm trying to arrange them water tankers, trying to get water pumps and so on and so forth. Not just the additional cost, but at what front? The summer has just begun. What about the next 2 to 3 months to come? So therefore, this is a dangerous situation, I would say. Largely, there are 1.4 crore Bangaloreans of us, and this will matter to every single one of them. Not just that, let me bring to your notice a very important water tanker mafia which is taking place. The normal charge of water tank is 700 to 800 rupees. But now, there is a monopoly here, Vineet Saab. They are charging 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, up to 5,000 rupees. Now tell me, how will people who are below poverty line be able to make do with that? Or even a middle class? This is not a joke. Every day there is a requirement of water. So therefore, as a citizen of this beautiful country, as a Bangalorean, I would plead to the able government of Shri Siddaramaiah ji, along with DK Shivakumar ji, to stop this petty politics of blame game between BJP, Congress and JDS. Come together as one united force, because water matters to politicians as well to civilians. So therefore, that is the way ahead. And I would definitely say that DK Shivakumar has rightfully said that he will take a stern action against all those unregistered water tankia mafia people who are running a business on our thirst. So therefore, there needs to be a coercive action which needs to come into take place. BBMP needs to be on the hook. They need to be held responsible for all of this. And also there are a large number of resident welfare association members, which Revati ji is also aware, who are doing everything it takes, everything possible to make this city a better place, and not just that, to combat the water wars, without which this will be a struggle to fare. Like the saying goes, water, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. I think the right way to go ahead is a cohesive structure with the Bangaloreans and the government in power today to come together and take it forward. I'd really plead to the able likes of Narayan Murthy ji, Kiran Majumdar Shah ji, Revati ji, Harish Bijur, all of us to come together and take the action. I think this needs to happen now. The action needs to be taken at this minute, without which not just the, in our balconies, Vineet Saab, during summers, we keep a bottle of water or a container of water for the birds. The situation is so bad now, what will happen to us? So therefore, we need to think. Every day, the building society starts calling, saying there's not enough water. By 9 a.m. in the morning, water is finished. What are we going to do about it? So therefore, there needs to be right regulations. There need to be stern measures to be taken. Everyone in power today, mind you, everyone in power must and should be held responsible. Without accountability, without responsibility, I think we will head to the dogs, which we definitely do not want to see. Garden city of Bengaluru turning out to be the other city which we wouldn't like to see us, but at least the water scarcity should not be an issue. Yes, I agree, it's been an unplanned city. Yes, we do have problem with traffic congestion. Yes, we do have infrastructure. But the most important facet right now is undoubtedly to solve the water scarcity issue, without which there will be situations which will be indeed quite dangerous.
Dr. Abbas, you're absolutely right. And, Dr. Rao, this could actually be, a very dangerous situation as well. It could lead to mayhem. It could lead to disruption of business, of life, of, administrative services. What has the government been doing for so many months? This is not something which, you woke up one fine morning and you found out that there was no water. This has been an evolving issue.
Good evening to you, to the panelists, and to all your viewers. See, this is been building up for a long time, over the years. And the capital of Karnataka was Mysore, which is on the Kaveri river. And we were getting piped water. But once upon a time, Bangalore was managing with its lakes and its own natural resources from the rain.
Well, it used to be called the City of Lakes. It used to be called the City of Lakes. Yes,
it was City of Lakes. That's what I'm coming to. City of Garden, City of Lakes. Over the years, these lakes have been filled up with debris and solid waste. And real estate builders have been happily building all sorts of structures. And even the municipality and others have been, like the city's main bus stand, the main railway station. So many structures have now come up, both government and private, over these lake beds. And the various channels which connected these river beds were also blocked off. The end result is you have, during monsoon, floods. And during the rest of the year, you have shortage of water. This is a man-made situation. There is no question at 3,000 feet height that you should have floods. Why floods? Because you have blocked all the natural drainages. And now you have water shortage in summer because you didn't allow water to remain in the lakes and percolate into the underground. What needs to be done is, already the courts are pressurizing the municipality to remove all illegal structures which have been built on filled up lakes and pathways, waterways. And the other thing is, for years, people have been saying, please have rainwater harvesting. Like I have built rainwater harvesting more than 10 years ago. And I have a 35,000 liter tank. I have enough water from rainwater for 4 to 6 months a year. This is exactly what everyone else should be doing. I did it 10 years ago. I am not waiting till there is a total water shortage. And rainwater conservation. I have a garden. I am in the garden city, and I have a garden. And I have got drip irrigation for it. 25 years ago, I put it up. So if we are really bothered about the city, each citizen can contribute. Plus, the government also should contribute. And it is only now that the BBMP is really, that is the municipality, is really pushing towards demolition of illegal structures. They should have been prevented in the first place. They haven't been, now it is happening. And politicians, like Mr. Syed said, the politicians to start encouraging all these kind of illegal or whatever constructions, and they should also contribute. Number 3, all CSR, that is the Bangalore is contributing 85% of the GST of Karnataka state and is one of the biggest contributors of GST to the Indian government. There are enough big companies from around the world, and they are supposed to spend a certain amount of money on CSR. This CSR money can be used to rejuvenate lakes. Already there is someone doing that in Bangalore. This needs to be done on a large scale. All lakes into which sewage is going, all that sewage has to be diverted. It has to be, the water can be recovered even from that sewage for garden purposes. And these lakes need to be, the sludge needs to be removed so that the lakes are deepened. The waterways which fed these lakes need to be rejuvenated, and all illegal construction in these blocking these pathways need to be removed. And there is like one place in Bangalore where the ring road itself blocks the waterway. In such places, you have to have passages for the water underneath these kind of road construction or infrastructure, so that the infrastructure, we need infrastructure, but at the same time, road infrastructure, it shouldn't be a blockage to the drainage of water.
Let me also rope in Sandeep Anirudh into this conversation. Sandeep, Dr. Abbas also mentioned the water mafia. There's water mafia everywhere. There's one in Delhi, there's one in Calcutta. In fact, most of the cities have this mafia. But the situation in some of these cities, the metropolis cities, has never gone so bad that you are completely dried out when it comes to water. Why isn't the government or even the police doing anything about it?
Vinith, you've come up on a very pertinent point. Like, see, our earlier panelists have discussed environment, they've discussed ecology, they've discussed planning, they've discussed all these things. But what actually happens in Bengaluru is lawlessness. You can forgive ignorance, you can forgive not knowing how to do things, but can you forgive a government or citizens for violating laws blatantly? And let me list all of them. First of all, does Bengaluru have a master plan? No, we have a zero master plan. Why? Because we are violating our constitution, the 74th Amendment. It was passed 3 decades ago in 1992. We are supposed to have a planning authority called the Metropolitan Planning Committee. We don't have it. As a result, the outcome is that we have unplanned development. Just in 2023 January, none less than the Supreme Court of India chastised Karnataka government.
Right, and Sandeep, this is also probably Sandeep, this is also probably an issue that a state like Karnataka cannot blame the centre for. How is Bangalore and Karnataka supposed to be a part of a developed India, Viksit Bharat, if this is going to be the plight?
No, Vineet, I have not blamed the central government. I'm blaming
No, I'm
the
not
state
saying. I'm
government.
not saying you have. I'm saying this is a state issue. This is something that should have been handled by the state.
Exactly. So, Vineet, I'll come to the number of law violations. I'll tell you why we are in such a mess, because we don't abide by laws. The state government itself violates the constitution. It doesn't implement the 74th Amendment. Therefore, we do not have a planning authority. We don't have a devolved, decentralized city government. We don't even hold elections to the city government. And then this lawlessness has resulted in unplanned development. The Supreme Court has criticized us for allowing unplanned development to take place, because of which we're destroying our entire environment and the city itself. It's an unlivable place today. Then let's go to the other laws. You have the wetland rules, 2017, the latest amended. It's part of the Environment Protection Act. It protects every water body, marsh, floodplain, stream, lake, river, ponds, you name it. The state government is supposed to have a state wetland authority, which is supposed to, first of all, identify, notify, and protect all of these. In the last 5 decades, we've lost about 90% of our wetlands, which includes, we had about 2,000 lakes, we only have 400 left. Then there was a whole lot of marshes which covered all of Bengaluru, which would allow water to be, it acts like a sponge, it collects the water and it lets it percolate into our groundwater. None of those is left, because all of those wetlands, which were actually public lands, have been filled in with soil due to the greed of the real estate mafia, and they've all been converted into commercial properties. And that's exactly where the floods happen, mind you, because they are in the path of the water. Third, let's go to the other laws. You have the Groundwater Act. Under the Groundwater Act, all of Bengaluru has been notified as a completely depleted red zone for the last maybe 5 years. In these zones, no borewell drilling is allowed. You can only have borewells for public borewells. Today, the state is this. I live in Whitefield. Every day, there are about 10-15 borewells being drilled by construction sites and by PG businesses, which have become the rage today. All of these are commercial use. They drill borewells. They suck out the water aquifer from about 1,500 to 2,000 feet. All the public borewells in our area have gone dry. Thousands of families are affected because of this. Then so you see, when you're talking of whether the water mafia trying to, exploit and steal water, literally anything that happens in the city is illegal. Nobody complies with the building bylaws. In Whitefield now, every single building that is being constructed is against the building bylaws. Every single layout violates BDA rules. So literally around us, you see only lawlessness. So how do you expect only one arm of anything to function lawfully? Obviously, there will be theft. If you look at the figures of what water comes from the Kaveri, 1,450 MLD or something, which comes every day, these don't add up. They say there's sufficient water. If you talk to the specialist, they say, oh, there's
We've
sufficient
run
water
out.
for the last another 2 months.
Let me also
But
take a response from Revati
taps
Ashok
are
on this
dry.
as well. Yes, she's been
Water
waiting for a
supply
very long
comes
time.
once in a month.
Revati ji, your analysis of the situation, which has gone from bad to worse, and the people have nowhere to go. If there's not going to be any water, it's not only about quenching your thirst or using water for your day-to-day activities. It's also the image of Bengaluru that is taking a big beating at this point in time. People wouldn't want to come there.
Yeah. So I think it's a very important point. Let me state some facts. The problem really is that, I agree with all the panelists that there is unplanned urbanization and water is not really planned. And therefore, a lot of things, we are seeing the crisis we have today. But let's go with certain facts. We have we have a supply of almost 1450 MLD of water. The city gets 1450 MLD supply of water. Unfortunately, 35% is non-revenue water. By that, what we mean is a lot of it, 29% of it is going as leakages. The balance goes away as free water distributed to various people, which is fine. I think if the government wants to give certain disadvantaged communities free water, that is not the real issue. But really, the transmission and distribution, the TND losses of 29% is very, very significant. So if we are able to reduce, if we have a graded plan of reducing this 29% to 5%, it'll be fantastic. They have to say, they have to do multiple things for this. They have to ensure that, the vehicular traffic is continuously damaging a number of pipes. You will see, as you drive on the streets, you will see that water is leaking, and because the pipes are broken and they don't get fixed immediately. You need more digitized assets for the BWSSB so that they can track exactly where the leakages are and go and promptly fix all of them. So those are some very short-term measures. Rainwater harvesting. Now, if rainwater harvesting is seriously taken, you can generate almost 1296 MLD. The city has the potential to develop get 1296 MLD of water. So really, the Bangalore can be surplus water if you really manage it well. And rainwater harvesting, if you do, you can use it for other portable purposes also. It's not a problem. Now let us come to wastewater recycling. Wastewater recycling, a lot of work has been done on wastewater recycling. In fact, policies were made about 5-6 years ago. A lot of apartment complexes were brought under this ambit. They have taken significant steps to provide wastewater treatment. All of them are doing. Quite a few have more than surplus water, which is just let out into the drains. Now, we need regulation to say construction activity can be done only with wastewater, treated water, not with fresh water. So I think these are things which can immediately alleviate a lot of things. Then comes the tanker mafia, which is having surge pricing, that today they decide to say that I will charge 5,000 rupees per tanker. This is usurious. I mean, 5,000 rupees per tanker of water, and I am actually a victim of that because the tanker guy actually comes, and I stay in the heart of the city. I stay 3 kilometers from MG Road. I'm in Bengaluru. And when I don't get water, they come and say that either you take a full tanker or we won't give it to you.
Absolutely.
Or you pay 5,000 for the tanker. So you have to regulate the tanker pricing. So there are multiple. To summarize, you need to have rainwater harvesting, which is aggressive and enforced. Rules are there, they are not enforced. Second, you need to control the borewells. The city requires water, but we are not able to supply because we have huge TND losses of 29%. Therefore, digitize those assets. Third thing, push for construction industry and other industries only to use treatable water. Let precious water, fresh water be used only for portable purposes and very essential purposes.
Absolutely.
If you do all of this, you're in a much better situation and you don't need to be in crisis mode. And let me tell you, friends, by 2030, we are estimating that water requirement will go to 2,900. And what are we going to do at that point? So therefore, unless we act today, we are going to be in a serious situation.
Absolutely. And this crisis, right, Dr. Abbas, 10 seconds, Dr. Abbas.
I think Revati ji has collectively brought out the points. I think my friend Sandeep and Dr. Rao as well. And if these things are taken into consideration, and of course, media being the fourth pillar of the constitution, and thank you, Vineet Saab and NewsX for taking up this issue, because we Bangaloreans are suffering day and day. And yes, this action needs to come now. Previously, I heard Dinesh Gundu Rao is the Bengaluru minister, and now I hear DK Shivakumar has taken this portfolio. Be it a DK or a Dinesh Gundu Rao, that minister needs to take action now, without which we will suffer. So therefore, if the Congress government has enjoyed the mandate of the people of Karnataka, I think it is time they take care. Illegal construction needs to be stopped ASAP. They might have taken, there could be a political or a bureaucracy give and take here, but we do not care until it comes to our life. So therefore, that needs to be stopped. Yes, the water tanker and their own mafia, the regulation needs to come through. The surge pricing is absolutely not okay. Making hay while the sun shines for them at our cost is absolutely not okay. There needs to be action now. And yes, thanks the media for taking up this story, which is indeed burning the city of Bengaluru. I think it's high time that we collectively hold the government responsible and get the work done. I think less talk from the government and more action.
Yeah,
more
and the
execution will be the way
only
to go.
worry is, Dr. Abbas, that this crisis should not transpire or evolve into, an emergency kind of a situation in the city of Bangalore because of this water crisis.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.